Some people may ask, what are the great ways to change? In this book here, The Great Ways to Change, Navigating the Difficult Times Ahead, it speaks on what the great waves are and how they're impacting our world now and in the years to come. And I wanted to share with you some recommendations in how to live in the great waves world. But before I do that, I wanted to explain a little bit what the great waves of change are. These great waves are not one event. They're not one simple thing that happens at one time only. For humanity has set in motion forces of change now that it must contend with on an ongoing basis. For you are now living in a world of declining resources, a world whose climate has been seriously affected, a world whose ecological condition is deteriorating, a world where humanity will have to face the prospects of great shortages of food and water, and the risk of disease and illness on a very large scale, even affecting the wealthy nations of the world. The balance has now been tipped and changed, and the human family as a whole must unite and gather together to deal with these great challenges. So in this book, there are some recommendations in how to navigate the great waves of change, and some things that you can do in your outer life to prepare for these great waves of change. So I wanted to share those recommendations for you. Conserve energy as much as possible. Reduce your energy consumption by 25 to 30% or more to help save your community and the world from depletion and ruin. Maintain a supply of food, water, and medicine to prepare for difficulties ahead. At least a supply for 90 days. If your living space is limited, store whatever amounts of supplies you can. Build an emergency cash fund, if possible, to sustain you during economic disruptions or job loss. In light of the great waves, take a more active role in managing, directing, and building your financial resources. Consider the availability of medical services in your area and how they may or may not function in a disaster or in a prolonged emergency. For those with chronic medical conditions, keep an adequate supply of prescription medicine on hand. Consider learning how to grow some of your own food. You can do this on your own or together with others. Own fewer things. Make sure that everything you own really serves you. Travel light and create time for more important things. Consider where you live in light of the great ways of change. In your current location, are you able and willing to travel without the use of an automobile? Will you be able to assist others given your current location and circumstances? Will you be ready to help others in times of need, or will you yourself be in jeopardy? Consider your profession and ask yourself these important questions. Will my line of work be sustainable in the years ahead given the constraints on energy, food, and other resources? Is my profession or line of work involved with providing essential goods or servicing real needs? Or does it involve products or services that are not essential and that may not be sustained in the difficult times ahead? Educate others, including your friends, family, neighbors, and co-workers, about the great ways of change. The more people around you who are aware, the better prepared your community would be. Consider the frail and elderly and vulnerable in your local community or neighborhood. Think ahead of how you might be able to help them if that becomes necessary. Support your local merchants, farmers, and producers, for they will be significant resources in the future when the ability to transport goods and services will be far more limited than it is today. Learn where your essential resources come from, how you might be able to acquire them if there were interruptions in supply, and what you would do if for any reason they become unavailable. Be sensitive and aware of the possibility of natural disasters in your area that could pose hazards to your safety. Have contingency plan of what you would do in such an extreme event. Inquire into your local town, city, or regional government's plans and preparations, if any, regarding great wave scenarios that are likely to emerge in your area. Provide feedback to your representatives and other local officials. Build strong personal relationships that can help you in your preparation. Are those close to you responding to the great ways of change? Or do you feel yourself having to persuade and convince them, often without success? Continue to educate yourself about the great ways of change as they unfold in your world. Use caution and discernment when considering the opinions of others and the commentary of experts. So those are basic recommendations that you can apply to your daily practice. Hope that you find that helpful, and thank you.